Warning: the video you are about to watch contains many spoilers from the movie of the titled video. If you do not wish to know the outcome of the movie, you may leave now.
Alright, what's going on, guys? This is ChrisB, and this is kind of a new segment that I'm starting. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's me pretty much just doing a bunch of movie reviews. I'm a big film guy. I prefer to watch film over TV. Why not start off this segment with the biggest movie possibly of all time, and that is Avengers Endgame for Marvel. So the movie's been out for nearly 2 weeks now. I saw it a week ago, a week after it came out. And what can I say about Endgame is that it was an amazing movie. It was a great movie. Some are even saying it's the cinematic event of the decade, and I'm not going to argue that because it's possibly true. So Avengers Endgame, everybody knows, set the box office record for opening weekend at $1.2 billion. I'm going to say it right now. I think Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is going to give Endgame a run for its money on opening weekend. I think it'll do right around $1 billion. It could even beat Endgame, I think. The Star Wars universe, all the fans, this is the end of the trilogy. This is definitely going to give Avengers Endgame a run for their money in opening weekend in the box office. So Marvel Avengers Endgame, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, produced, of course, by Marvel Studios, specifically Kevin Feige, starring every Marvel Avengers person you can think of: Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Don Cheadle, Paul Rudd, Brie Larson, Karen Gillan, Danae Gurira, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Bradley Cooper, and Josh Brolin. You know, this list doesn't even have Tom Holland on it. It's missing some important characters. If you haven't seen the warning already, or the warning that was in the beginning of this, there are a bunch of spoilers. I'm pretty much laying out the entire movie, and I'm talking about all the big events. So if you don't want to know any of that stuff, then click off this video now. It would take me forever to go through every single character and what they did in the movie. They're all pretty much fighting to protect and get to the ones they love. Loved seeing Gamora back. It was crushing to see her die in Infinity War, but just to see her again for a little bit is awesome. Of course, one of the biggest headlines was that Black Widow died. Many Marvel fans were very distraught, heartbroken. She was one of my favorites. She was also one of the OG Avengers, but you know, if they were trying to cap off this Avengers franchise, then you knew one of the big characters had to die, and it just happened to be Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow. Some other quick little notes about characters. Ant-Man seemed to have a much bigger role than previous Avengers movies. I had never seen Ant-Man and the Wasp before, so maybe I could just, that's my opinion, I didn't really think he was that big of a character before. Captain Marvel, I mean, what can I say about Captain Marvel? I think she's pretty much unstoppable. She took a headbutt from Thanos and didn't feel a thing, and she just turned into this yellow flamey ball and just absolutely destroyed him. Hawkeye is just an absolute animal. He's a beast. He's not just a beast with the arrow, but he's also married to Velma from Scooby-Doo, so I feel like that scores him a few points. Spider-Man, another one of my favorites. I've always had this like dream in the back of my mind of being an actor, and I think Tom Holland in that role is just like one of the sweetest roles ever. That guy always seems to kill it. He did a great job in this movie. And like I said, I'm not going to talk about each and every character. There's 25 main characters I talk about, but we'll get into the movie itself. And the movie, you know, for the first 2 hours was very, very slow. It was an average Avengers movie at best, but of course it's going to be slow because it's all building, story building, flowing into this final fight scene. And that final fight scene is what sets Endgame apart from any other movie you've seen. I haven't had goosebumps watching a movie like that since I saw The Last Jedi from Star Wars. It was just, when all those people who had died in Infinity War came out of those portals and they were just showing up, and oh my god, the hair on your arm started raising. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Even the bad guy army, when they were coming out with like those gorilla dog things on chains, like, oh my god, this battle is about to be one of the most intense cinematic things I will ever see. Like, you just knew what was coming. As many of us know, the biggest headline, storyline from this entire movie is Iron Man dying. He is arguably the biggest first OG Avenger, and to see him die was heartbreaking for a lot of people. When Iron Man's dying, you see him sitting up against something, he's dying, and Pepper's there. It's one of the saddest things because they're like talking about his daughter that we just met in this movie. She's adorable. Pepper Potts. It's one of the saddest things, and it kind of leads into how the rest of the movie's going to end, where everybody ends up going. But when it came to Iron Man, and Iron Man was there dying, it was the theater I was in was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop fall in there. It it was followed by a bunch of sobbing. Like it struck a chord in some people's hearts, that's for sure. Not gonna lie, it got to me a little bit too. I've watched like 18 of the 22 movies leading up to it, so I didn't have any tears rolling down my cheeks, but like, all right. So how did some of the other Avengers turn out? Well, Falcon is pretty much the new Captain America, I guess. The original Captain America, I love seeing him and Peggy Carter end up together. It was awesome. Captain America is my favorite Avenger, so I'm happy he got his happy ending. Another huge Avenger is Thor, and it's going to be super exciting to see him come back in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's going to be dope. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy's movie, so adding Thor to it as a main character would be awesome. So the moment you've all been waiting for, what score did I give Marvel Avengers Endgame out of 10? And that score is a... As you can see from my first movie review ever, I gave Marvel Avengers Endgame a 9.2. That is a very high score. I don't imagine I will ever give out a 10, but this movie is a must-see. And I highly recommend you go see this movie. It'll probably be one of the biggest movies of the year, one of the biggest movies for a long time. I'm going to put an asterisk next to the biggest movie of the year because, like I said, I believe Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker will give Avengers Endgame a run for its money. Make sure you guys go in the comments below and let me know what you think about this segment. If you guys like it, I would love to do a lot more of these. Go ahead and let me know what other movies you'd like to see as well. This has been your boy ChrisB Cobb, and enjoy your weekend and make sure to go see Marvel Avengers Endgame. Peace.